What up? We're back in Indy. Well, I mean me, because Eric's not here. We're working on BMWs. We got this shiny new toy in the garage. It's a 2007 Z4 Coupe. The 3.0, not the M Coupe. Anyway, it's still sick. We got it for a deal we couldn't pass up. But obviously, for a deal we couldn't pass up, it needs work. So, let me read what happened. Well, previous owner said that overheated, if you may or may not know with these cars, any new BMW electric water pumps fail often. So, I'll just read it because it's a nightmare. This is straight from the sheet. Removed valve cover found eccentric shaft stop broken off at cylinder head. Client advised client to replace the cylinder head and eccentric shaft sensor. Client declined replacement. Guy let it sit for a year because he wanted to fix it someday. Didn't get around to it. Posted it in the local group for super cheap. We picked it up. Got a super good deal. This thing is sick. So that's that. It needs a new head, but we went the easy route. It's still kind of taken apart. We went the easy route. Picked up a junkyard motor right here for super cheap. So we're going to have it running and driving 3.0 Coupe for, I don't know, less than $2,000, which is sick. So there it is. We're going to get started today, hopefully get the motor out. I believe, never worked on a Z4 before, but I believe it's similar to the E46 chassis where we can just pull the whole front end off, bumper and the core support, to give us plenty of room to just pull the motor right out. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, little update. We got the whole front end off, pretty much. This is all loose. I just need to decide what to do with the radiator. It's loose and ready to come out, except for the AC stuff. I wanted to pull this whole core support off, as I mentioned before, but the AC lines go through a hole in the center of it. So I really didn't want to disconnect that and lose all my AC refrigerant pressure. I don't really want to let it go in the garage. So I may try to lay this on the ground to the side and see if I'll be able to work around it. If not, I'll just have to pull it apart. But we're getting there. Break for lunch, and we'll be back at it. Figured it's time for another update. Got the front end almost all the way off. Like I said, I was going to try to pull this out of the way. Need a wider lens. Pull this out of the way so I can just set it there without taking off the AC lines. That's not going to work. This is all that's holding it are these two AC lines right here to the evaporator. And it's not going to come far enough away from the car or the motor to get a hoist in here. So I will check back in once I spray refrigerant all over the garage. I mean, dispose of it in a very environmentally friendly way, and get the front end off. Then we'll start pulling the motor out. Alright, I made a big mess, but I got the front end off. That sucked. I should have definitely just disconnected the AC from the beginning, because then I had the whole core support just hanging off there on the lines, on the AC lines, and it sucked. It actually sucked to get off, and I made a big mess, and I'm filthy. But now, we're going to unbutton the last couple things are left, a bit of the intake, fuel lines, and injector stuff. I think most of it, some of this is disconnected already from when they had the valve cover off. Clean up underneath, and then I need to pull the exhaust off, pull the drive shaft out, and transmount, and then we'll be ready to party. So hopefully we'll be done here soon. Alright, been struggling with the header to the rest of the exhaust. There's a little connection down there, 4 bolts. They're a little crusty. Took like 40 minutes to struggle with it here. Finally got one of them off, as you can see. Didn't really get it loose. It just broke the bolt, broke the studs. So probably just gonna break the rest of them off and then I don't know, maybe buy some catless headers for this thing. Another level update from yesterday. As you can see on the ground here, we got 2 broken heads. I was struggling yesterday with the header here. That's the header that comes down to the rest of the exhaust. See, I got off, but broke all 4 heads of the bolts or studs off. So I'll have to drill those out and put new bolts in. But exhaust is off now. Small update. You can see all the extra bracing that makes this thing so stiff. It's got like cross braces that go everywhere, big metal braces that go under the attach like both sides here. It's pretty sweet. Sweet car. Anyway, gotta pull some of this exhaust shielding down, drop the drive shaft, or at least disconnect it from the trans. Probably let it hang from that center guibo. Trans mounts right there. Pull that off, and then pretty much engine mounts, and I think it can come out. So, getting close. Alright, we're back under the car now. Got that exhaust shielding off, drive shaft down, it's hanging from the diff. Sitting on the ground, not gonna hurt anything. Sad day. Yeah, this is an automatic. So I got my shifter cable here. I just unbolted it from the side of the trans. And the end, if it'll focus, I Sharpied the 2 lines on there. That's right where the actual shift actuator here grabs it. So hopefully I can get it in the exact same spot so I don't have to do any adjustment to make sure it gets into gear. See, the engine's sagging back a little bit. Everything's loose, got that skid plate off, engine mount's loose. Now, got to dig out my stand and get this engine all set up on the stand so I can get the hoist over here and pull this sucker out. Alright, a little check-in. Got the motor all hooked up. The other motor's still on the ground over there, but I got this one all hooked up on the hoist. Started pulling it out. Pretty much good to go. So far, I didn't forget anything to disconnect. As we came up, though, you can see I unbolted the steering rack, slid it to the side so the oil pan can fit through. Oh yeah, I also had to pull off the rubber engine mounts. They were like too wide to fit through the frame rail, which was interesting. So after I had it up and loose, I dropped off the actual rubber mount from each side, and now it's totally loose, and I think it's coming out. So we'll continue with the time lapse. All right, I spoke too soon. I did forget 2 things. You can see there right here, forgotten an engine ground to pull off, and then I could have left the AC compressor in the car, but as I disconnected it, you saw my struggles with it at the radiator earlier. I left it all here, but this big, I don't know what that is, the low pressure line is still connected to the compressor, so, and that goes to the chassis. So we're going to pull that big low pressure line off and undo that ground under there, and then it's coming out. Alright, as you saw, I lied again. There was a let me get the light again. Here we are. This light sucks. Whatever. There's a one of these main harnesses is the trans harness. It runs down the top of the trans and plugs into the back of the trans. And I also forgot O2 sensors, and then I came to this whole block here. This whole like engine harness block, junction wiring mess connects right under the intake here. And there's like 12 sensors that had to come unplugged because it goes into the ECU box and it doesn't unplug from there unless you probably just pull the whole ECU out, which I don't want to mess with. So I got everything disconnected now. This thing's just hanging out. And I think, oh, just kidding, one more. There. Now we're totally disconnected. And this thing's free and ready to come out. So I should have remembered this thing. I had to do it when I pulled that off, when I pulled the intake off to do the starter on my old E90. But now we got it, and we'll have to remember when we go back in. All right, check it out. I lied again. I forgot the oil level sensor in the bottom of the pan, and this vacuum line that goes to the brake booster comes right up behind the intake. But it's clear. Look, complete air between the chassis and the motor. So now I might end it here. We're gonna drag this thing over here, and then I got the chore of putting it on the stand and transferring all the accessories from here onto that one, including oil pans. Got to get swapped because that was a like all-wheel drive 5 Series, I think. Anyway, success. And here we are. Got it comfortably sitting on some stands. Tomorrow I will get it on, maybe get the new one on the stand, and we'll start transferring everything over. But that'll be it for now. If you want to see more BMW stuff, follow along. A little change of pace from the usual rad rotary stuff, but we'll do some BMW things around here too, and try to document some of the stuff we're doing on here, because there's lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff to do. Anyway, thanks for following along. Peace.